You are watching the Jermell Charlo workout here in Houston, Texas. The undisputed super welterweight champion of the world gets set to square off against Canelo Alvarez on Saturday, September 30th on Showtime pay-per-view. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Alongside the WWE Hall of Famer Booker T. Ray Flores here with the esteemed trainer of Jermell Charlo, one of the best trainers in the game, the trainer of the year last year, Derek James. Derek, it is great to talk with you. I know you're watching your man prepare and get ready for this huge showdown against Canelo Alvarez, but what does this opportunity mean to Jermell Charlo, yourself, and the entire team as you guys get set to match up against Canelo Alvarez?
Well, I think it means everything because I think that it's something that has never been done in the men's division to have 2 undisputed championships at one time. I believe that Sugar Ray Robinson tried it before and failed. So I think that with him doing this and being able to do it and make history, it'll be amazing.
As we get closer, what I'm noticing about Jermell Charlo is that there is this excitement, but there is a confidence, there's a focus. This is the best I've ever seen Jermell Charlo mentally, physically, spiritually. Yeah. Is that fair to say?
No, it seems like a light shining bright down on him right now. He seems to be in a perfect place heading into this fight against Canelo Alvarez. He seems to be high-spirited. He seems to be happy, as well as seems to be focused more so than anything.
If there was a movie character that I could say has come to life Jermell Charlo gives me Clubber Lang vibes from Rocky 3 when he beat Rocky for the first time, the only time. But that's what I gather out of Jermell Charlo, the ferocity, the intensity. I mean, just look at what he's doing right now just to that pad.
You know what? I got to disagree with you on that. He reminds me of the Michael B. Jordan character, a kid that's willing to go out there and go through all of the trenches and do whatever he has to do to get that W. And look at him right now, the way he's throwing those shots. They look crisp, they look precise, they look definitely punishing. And on the 30th, I can only imagine what it's going to feel like being in the ring with this young man.
Well, you know this being an elite level athlete and going all over the world in what you've done and headlining massive events. What you want is an opportunity. Jermell Charlo is already a made man, super welterweight champion of the world, undisputed. Now he's looking to do it twice, 2 weight classes above. What does that signify for him as he inches closer to that date, September 30th, against Canelo?
You know, you think about the fights and previous, the Tony Harrisons, the Lubas, the Castaños, all those fights were big fights, but this one right here under the bright lights, it doesn't get any bigger than this. This is a history-making moment for Charlo, and the thing is, those moments, you only get them one time, perhaps, and you never get them again. So this is the biggest night of this young man's career. He has to cash in.
When you're in an arena, now we know T-Mobile Arena is going to be sold out. Limited tickets are available, AXS.com, presented by Premier Boxing Champions, promoted by TGB Promotions and Canelo Promotions. But when you're making that walk from the locker room to the ring, now my first question to you, do you hear the roar of the crowd as you're getting ready to make your entrance?
You know, I remember my first WrestleMania, and I remember being in the gorilla position, that's the go position, and I got ready to walk out the curtain, and I remember the Undertaker, he looked at me and he go, "Hey, Book, make sure you stop and take it all in." And if he wouldn't have told me that, I wouldn't have done that. I probably would have had tunnel vision and walked right to the ring. But I stepped out on that stage, and I looked around, and it was more than 70,000 people, and I was like, oh, man. And all of those fans, their energy radiated through me. And that's the only thing I think about with Charlo. It's going to be, sweaty palms. It's going to be butterflies, but that's when you got to get those butterflies to line up and fly straight.
So how do you handle that? How do you harness that?
Well, I think, the nervousness actually worked for you at that time. I think if you're not nervous going into a fight like this, you're not human. So I think having that work for you, I think is going to be his greatest attribute on the 30th.
Well, with Jermell Charlo, one thing we know about him is that he always comes in tip-top physical shape. You can tell that he has a game plan, but also with Jermell, he has plan A. I don't know, but I believe he has like plan A, plan 1A, plan 1B. Are there different ways that he can attack you?
Of course, but that's where I think Derek James is going to come into play in a huge way, just because you go back to the Tony Harrison loss, and you go back to the Costanzo draw. He came in with a certain mentality in both of those fights. He seemed a little lackadaisical, maybe not, ready for that night. That cannot happen in this fight. He has to be totally prepared. Preparation is the only luck he's ever going to have in a fight like this. And Derek James has to be that X factor as far as getting him to that point.
What I like about Jermell Charlo, among a litany of things, his punching power,
yes.
How he's so judicious, and he has terrific technique. He is the epitome to me of a boxer puncher. But he's faced adversity in his career. I go back to those fights that you pointed out. The fact that that fight against Harrison in which he lost, comes back, knocks him out, finishes him off, has retribution. Then in the first fight with Castaño, his back was against the wall, and Derek James told him, you need these last few rounds, and he went out and did it.
Exactly. So
he has proven time and time again to be able, when he's faced with adversity, to overcome it.
No, it's going to go back to those fights, having that adversity, having to be able to overcome, being in those positions, knowing what it's like being in those positions, not coming into that fight at a lull. And like I say, this fight is against Canelo Alvarez, the guy is 59-2. He's only lost to two of the best fighters in the world, Floyd Mayweather being one of them when he was a kid. Yeah. He's a grown man now, so of course Canelo Alvarez is going to have a game plan as well. So both of these guys, I cannot wait to see the chess match. It's going to be a chess match as far as who walk out, but you talk about those two fights. You talk about how Charlo came into those fight twos with a total different purpose as far as being patient, but being a guy that was seek and destroy at the same time. Let me land this big shot and let me get up out of here and hit the club in H-Town. That's what it was all about.
Well, speaking of H-Town, can you imagine if Jermell Charlo defeats Canelo Alvarez and becomes undisputed super middleweight champion of the world? I can only imagine. You know what it's like to have big moments here in Houston.
Yeah.
The homecoming Jermell Charlo is going to have here in Houston.
Let me tell you, I got the key to the city here in Houston, and trust me, Jermell Charlo goes out and win this fight. It's going to be a big parade for him downtown. The confetti is going to be all over the place. The mayor is going to have a huge cleanup bill because it's going to be a party like 1999.
Where would you like, if he's able to do this on September 30th, if he were to have a homecoming fight? I think he could go out and where the Texans play NRG, I think he could sell that place out. You do a football stadium, you know, if he were to pull off this win against Canelo Alvarez.
Man, of course, we can do NRG, we can do Minute Maid, all the big. It's going to have to be a huge arena because, trust me, when the Charlos come out and do their thing, Houston is going to come out and support in the biggest way. And after a fight like this, like I say, the parade is going to be huge. And I'm going to tell you, I'm predicting it. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be a knockout. No, excuse me. It's going to be a unanimous decision, 12 rounds. My man. Now, you know, wait a minute. It's going to be a knockout.
You're saying it's going to be a knockout. You're saying Jermell Charlo knocks out Canelo Alvarez.
It's going to be a huge knockout. 11th round, Charlo over Canelo big.
11th round knockout, Jermell Charlo over Canelo Alvarez. It's going to be late in the fight. Well, we're going to allow you to continue to watch Jermell Charlo work out. I think he's smiling because I think he heard your prediction book, but he certainly put it in that work. Is Jermell Charlo, the undisputed super welterweight champion of the world, undisputed versus undisputed, September 30th, Showtime pay-per-view, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas will be rocking. Make sure to order it right now. You do not want to be left out in the cold. Do it right now. And do it not because I said so, because Booker T said so.
Do it now.
And can you, what is it?
Dig that sucker!
Jermell Charlo's workout continues.
We ain't trying to give him too much. We ain't trying to give him too much.
I'm retired, 100%.
Oh, come on.
You are watching the Jermell Charlo workout here in Houston. Jermell from right here, the native son of Houston, Texas, hitting the heavy bag. The undisputed super welterweight champion of the world matches up against Canelo Alvarez on Saturday, September 30th on Showtime pay-per-view. It is Canelo and Charlo for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. Jermell Charlo looking to become the second man to be undisputed champion in 2 weight divisions. He is looking to further his legacy against Canelo Alvarez, and make no mistake about it, Jermell Charlo is locked in with his head trainer, Derek James, the trainer of the year last year. Also, Juan Guzman, former world champion, looking on as well. So we will allow you to continue to check out the Jermell Charlo workout. I will have a breakdown with the WWE Hall of Famer Booker T in a few moments, as Booker from right here in Houston, having been all over the world as a WWE Hall of Famer and also former WCW heavyweight champion of the world. And Booker, you know, I mentioned the fact that you were former WCW heavyweight champion of the world. You know what it's like to put championship gold around your waist. You know, with that, it comes a certain level of distinction, of pride. People look at you differently. How do you handle that?
You know, as far as fans go,
like with Jermell Charlo, how do you think he's handling it? Like, how you handled it?
Well, I think you can't read your own press clippings. You can't look at yourself in the mirror and wink at yourself and think that you are actually that guy, because there's so much more work still yet to be put in it. When you're not working, somebody else is. And if you think, you can rest on your laurels for one moment, that's when everything is going to go away. So I think just being humble, staying in that place to where, it's not about me, it's about getting the job done day in and day out, literally having that mentality where there's no days off. That's the only way you can stay at the top. It's really hard to deal with other people's expectations. You can only deal with yours. I mean, Jermell, he's won, of course, but he's lost also. He knows what it feels like to actually lose. So in a fight like this, he knows, how important it is. He knows exactly what's on the line. He knows that a fight like this is a life-changing moment. Once it happens, it's going to be over, and it perhaps may never happen again. That's the only thing that could really keep you locked in and dialed in to make that walk down that aisle, or to face that man across from you. Because one thing you got to understand, that guy across from you, he's thinking the exact same thing.
So does that make him more dangerous because of the fact that he does want to be able, this is a life-changing opportunity for him. Jermell's already done very well financially in this sport with everything he's accomplished, but to be able to have this moment and to be able to defeat the great Canelo Alvarez, how dangerous does this make Jermell?
Come on, that's that Lions mentality. He's going to be dangerous, by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to go out there and he's going to be able to perform, but they're again performing at that level to where you got to be laser focused. You got to be able to block out all the noise, all that white noise got to go to the side, as well as there again you got a guy throwing punches at you, so you got to definitely keep your eyes on the prize. But as far as a guy that's, when I look at him, I'm watching him hit the bag. When I look at him, he seems like he's laser focused. He seems like he's, more calm that he's ever been. The pressure doesn't seem like it's affecting him or anything like that. And I think that right there in itself is a dangerous fighter.
I think that for Jermell Charlo, you could just tell that he is in such a good place mentally, and I think it's going to show in his performance on September 30th. he is one of those guys that rises to the occasion, and I certainly believe that he is more than up to the task when he takes on Canelo on September 30th.
You know, you just said the word rise to the occasion. Every time Jermell Charlo's been knocked down, you know, he's picked himself back up, and he's come back, and he's gone out and win, and not just win, he's gone out and win in grand fashion. And on Saturday, September 30th, against Canelo Alvarez, a guy there again, 59-2. It's not gonna be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but if anybody can get it done, I think it's Jermell Charlo. This fight right here is a fight that I don't think any of us ever thought would come to fruition, but on September 30th, it's here. And it's going to be a dynamite. It's going to be a knockdown drag.
People talk about old school throwback fighters many times, and it's almost something that we kind of pound to the pulpit and we beat like a drum. Jermell Charlo is a throwback fighter. I don't ever remember him turning down any opportunity. He's always been the one to initiate who he wants. I want that guy. I want the baddest man on the planet. When he fought Jason Rosario back 3 years ago in this pay-per-view maiden voyage, along with his brother Jermell Charlo, who fought Sergey Derevyanchenko at Mohegan Sun during COVID times. No fans were allowed in the building, but he wanted that opportunity against Jason Rosario, and he put him away with a piercing body shot.
Not to mention an undefeated Erickson Lubin. A kid who had dynamite in both hands, and he went out there and got him out of there, boom, with one shot. So he packs dynamite in both hands. This fight against Canelo Alvarez, you talk about, you know, Charlo being a throwback, as well as Canelo Alvarez. Both of these guys are throwback fighters, and to see them both in the middle of the ring at this stage in Las Vegas on the 30th is going to be a night to remember for all.
I want to bring back a point about, you talked about, you know, when you're at this level that you can't read your own press clippings.
Yes.
Absolutely understandable. But do you read things where, you know, Jermell is the underdog coming into this fight? You know, he alluded to it. Does that motivate him? Does that add fuel to his fire? I don't think he needs anything more, but do you think that it adds a little extra oomph to what he's doing?
You know, to be honest, I always knew that I was good in professional wrestling. I never thought about the championships or anything like that. But when you're good, I got to say, it's all about checks and championships, baby. No, and that's what Jermell Charlo has garnered throughout his career, not because of anything else other than he's just that good. Give him credit for that.
Well, I love what you just said. It's all about checks and championships. I mean, is that not the epitome of what it is to be a prize fighter, an elite level athlete?
It is, but that is the epitome, checks and championships. But that will never happen if you're not truly the best, and that's what Jermell Charlo is.
Well, for this particular fight, you have two guys in Canelo. I think Canelo is looking to come out in this fight and try to prove something, because people are saying, has the true greatness of Canelo diminished a little bit? And I think that's why Canelo said, you know what, I want Jermell Charlo. And Jermell Charlo, it probably took him like 20 seconds to say yes.
You know, of course, Canelo Alvarez has something to prove. I mean, that Dimitri Bivol fight was a beatdown. It really was. And Canelo Alvarez knows he's a much better fighter than that. He was fighting a much bigger guy at that time as well, and that step up for him was a huge step up. But do Canelo Alvarez want to be redeemed? Of course he wants to be redeemed. But on Saturday, September 30th, I'm just wondering, is this the wrong guy to step in there to get it done with, as far as this kid Charlo? Because this kid has come a long way. I've watched this kid's career, and I remember talking to Jermell Charlo once, and I said, you know, I wasn't a believer in the beginning in the Charlo brothers.
You weren't?
No,
okay.
That's what I told him. I said, I wasn't a believer. But over the time, both of those brothers made me believers in their performances each and every time they went out to that ring.
Well, I just love the fact that Jermell mentioned, he goes, my brother Jermell started before I did. And they are still, look, you know, I have a younger brother, you know, who's in this business from an announcer standpoint, Miguel. There's nothing like, you know, working with your family, no matter what it is. I mean, obviously, you guys are athletes. We are not. But there's nothing like working with your brother, being a part of something with your brother. Jermell certainly feeds off of Jermell and vice versa.
Well, I mean, I started with my brother, of course, you know, the Harlem Heat. And I know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my brother.